Hello, I am Dr. Farshad Amini Behbahani and this is short course of Iranian traditional medicine. In this section, we discuss about psychic spirit. Before beginning of this section, I should mention that there is a difference in the viewpoint of the brain anatomy between Iranian traditional medicine and modern medicine. In modern medicine, we have four ventricles. Ventricle number 1 and number 2 are in the left and right hemisphere. Ventricle number 3 between them, and ventricle number 4 in the medulla oblongata. But in Iranian traditional medicine, we don't count ventricle number 3 and number 4 as ventricle. They are just channels for flowing of the psychic spirit. Contrary, in the ventricle number 1 and ventricle number 2 of modern medicine, we considered in each of them three ventricles: anterior ventricles, middle ventricles that are in the same position of choroid plexus in the ventricles of 1 and 2, and posterior ventricles. Actually, in the viewpoint of Iranian traditional medicine, we have 6 ventricles, 3 on the left side and 3 on the right side. This is important to understand the action of psychic spirit for thinking, and it is important to understand this temperament of different part of the brain. In Iranian traditional medicine, the anterior part of the brain is more wet temperament compared to the posterior part. Posterior part with its drier temperament is proper for keeping memory, for recording, and anterior part is more proper for thinking and receiving the senses. Vital spirit, by its passing through the arteries of the brain, change in its temperament and turn to a new spirit with new temperament, I mean a cold and wet temperament. Actually, all of the spirits of the body are warm compared to the body, but when we compare two spirits with each other, one of them may be warmer or drier than the other. So the vital spirit is warmer and drier compared to the psychic spirit. After producing psychic spirit from the vital spirit, its pathway would be ventricles, spinal cord, and the nerves. Actually, there is a belief in Iranian traditional medicine that everywhere that you have fluid, everywhere that you have electrolytes, you have psychic spirit in the brain. So we can consequence of this idea that the main way of passing of psychic spirit in the nerve could be considered cytoplasm of the neurons. And of course, CSF of the brain in spinal cord or in the brain. In this viewpoint, The white and gray matter are protector part, are the part that amplify the psychic spirit. If they become thin, the dissolving of psychic spirit will be more, and so loss of memory is a consequence. Sometimes we want dissolving of psychic spirit when we want to erase the memory. So we reduce the resistance of these materials that protect psychic spirit, including white and gray matter, membranes, skulls, skull bone, and skin. We do this by cupping on the neck or by rubbing some oil that eliminates the resistance of the skin or even the membranes of the brain, like violet oil. This helps to a patient with obsession or depression to forget his or her problem. Psychic spirit has several faculties that do three main actions: sensation, movement, and thinking. Sensation is divided to two parts, external sensation with the five senses of sight, hear, taste, smell, and touch, and internal sensation from the anterior part to the posterior part is common sense, keeper or holder faculty, imaginative faculty, illusory faculty, and memory faculty. There is a difference in the viewpoint of Iranian traditional medicine with modern medicine. In modern medicine, for external senses, we believe that electric pulse in the neuron move from the sense organ toward the brain. But in Iranian traditional medicine, also in Ayurveda, which is Indian traditional medicine, there is a belief that a spirit moves from the brain toward the sense organ. Even in some senses, like sight, there is a belief that psychic spirit will go out of the eyes and touch the objects that we see. Of course, there is a mechanism of entering the light to the eyes and producing reverse image. But this mechanism is only accepted for the seeing object in the mirror. What is importance of this belief? In this belief, when you have a decrease or weakness in any of the sensation, in addition to considering the damage of disease of the end organ or sense organ, like distemperament of organ, and the obstruction of the pathway, which is common in modern medicine and Iranian traditional medicine, we also consider the weakness of psychic spirit. If you remember from the previous section, the main source of psychic spirit was vital spirit. So the weakness of vital spirit can affect the sensation. So in weakness of any sensation, we considered vital spirit as a cause. Sometimes by treatment of a weak vital spirit or a distemperament in the heart, we can help the patient to improve his or her sensation. It could be weakness of the sight, or weakness of the taste, or weakness of the smell, or hearing weakness. When sensation perceived by the psychic spirit, this perception, this image or face of any sense has a face and has a meaning. The face of every sense is received by common sense in the anterior part of anterior ventricle. This part is responsible for dividing different senses and prevent to mixing or misunderstanding them with each other. Common sense delivers the perceived face to the keeper part. Keeper faculty, which is posterior to the common sense, keeps the face and provide enough time for the next faculty, that is imaginative faculty, for extracting the meaning from the face. Imaginative faculty, after extraction of the meaning, deliver it to illusory faculty for perception, and illusory faculty after perception deliver it to the memory faculty, which is in posterior ventricle. Actually, memory faculty is responsible for saving and recording all faces and meaning of them, which is important to remembering and for thinking and also for dreaming.